So you're talking about Syria earlier and stuff, and Islam, and of course this ISIS and everything. Do you think that Islam is going to take over the West before Jesus comes back, or because it seems like inevitable
that they're going to start doing that here?
Right. I mean, I don't see the West being able to defend itself against Islam eventually, because we're just so messed up in our policies and stuff, you know. And we're not.
I'm just thinking about the verses.
Birth rate in the West is too low. We're getting outbred by Islam, you know.
When you say in the West, Ryan, I gotta separate something.
All right.
Europe, they're in trouble.
Right.
They're in trouble.
You're seeing it right now.
Their policies are stupid.
Right.
They just let boatloads of them come in. They just infiltrate. They don't do it. They open borders. They're politically correct and all that. That's why I want to separate Europe from America.
Right. And even like
go ahead.
England, for example, their conservatism is like our leftist.
Yes.
Right. It's like that bad.
Yeah, it's that.
And their their left wing politics is insane. You know.
I gotta separate the United States of America because we're pretty unique in this way. There's a culture clash of that liberalism that's closer to what's over in Europe, but then you got some hardcore, I call them the Trump-like folks who are just like American nationalism, like
but I feel like even they are not.
That is hard wired in a lot of people who affect the policies of this country. And what Ryan is I see what you're saying.
I wonder if the damage is already done. It's kind of like whistling past the graveyard or something, you know.
I would say in Europe, yes. I think the jury's still out in America. Depends. I would say like if somebody had like Hillary Clinton had gotten in there, and she was willing to bring in like hundreds of thousands more of Syrian refugees and all that stuff.
You know, it's interesting. I heard
that type of stuff. Because you're talking about, we're from Minnesota. The second and third generations of these Somali Muslims, they're the ones who are going back trained to be, not their parents who came over, grandparents. Mm-hmm. It's the young boys who are 20 years old, born in Minneapolis, who's saying jihad for Allah, you know. It's them. And when you get all of that.
The internet too?
Dude, yeah, see?
Oh boy.
And you go in some of these communities and think you're in the Middle East, like.
Back to what Ryan said, what I think, man, is that your question about Islam just taking over the whole. I'm going to say it like this. This is what I just believe. That America, just like America is this last true bastion of freedom for us to be like, we can just walk out, walk in with our Bibles.
They don't have freedom of speech like we do.
No, exactly. So I'm thinking,
over in Europe,
for our sake, see, here's what I do know. There's always a remnant of people. When I say remnant, there's always a remnant of light that God gives, you know. I'm thinking that's probably America's role in these last days before the prophecy, where people look to, think about what Israel's supposed to be. They were supposed to be this beacon of light that the Gentiles look, it's like, man, where are they getting this wisdom from, this light? Well, I'm thinking America's that in these last days because we have the freedom to come and go and worship as we please right now, you know.
But it doesn't mean much if we just get outnumbered and completely outbred. Because you know what's funny is like, so Europe is completely at a trajectory to be extinct. Their birth rate is so low that they're going to be gone in a few generations. America was doing all right, principally because of Mexico and a lot of people from Mexico being in America. But now Mexico and that culture is affected a lot by Catholicism. And this new pope is such a social justice warrior that now the birth rate among the Catholics from Mexico is dropping big time too. So that's affecting the American birth rate, which is dropping like crazy. So eventually we're just going to get outbred too, because the standard American population, if you discount immigration from Mexico,
here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say. What we can thank God for. The writers of the Constitution of this country, they had some foresight beyond where they looked down the road. If America stands on our Constitution, where it would literally take acts of Congress and so forth to change, to amend things, as it were, I think our saving grace is twofold. the type of constitutional republic we have, that, you know, the founding document of our laws, as well as I see America as constant, and I see what Ryan is saying about the burglary. He's true, he's right. But there's always going to be this remnant, this Christendom remnant, fighting for the truth of God's word. That's going to always battle.
But if it's 1 against 10, then what are you going to do?
Brother Ron.
But then you got your question. Then is unknowable. Then, Ryan, the Lord, He could very well come back before all of that stuff happens. Or He may. We don't. I don't know. We don't know. Go ahead.
The highest concentration of grace believers is in the United States, right? There's everywhere, but there's a big.
I mean, you never know with China, right? There's evidently
the grace movement.
There evidently is, right, with Barlow and all that, but and China, I would maybe think that because it's so densely populated that maybe there'd be, because I mean there's more geniuses of genius IQs in China than there are all the people in America. So it just lets you know.
But we would never. Obviously, China, you know, the population is greater than ours, but we would never know how many grace believers.
Right, that's true.
Because they would have to do it underground. That's my point. That's what makes America. That's why I have to separate, because we have something nobody else has. We have the freedom just to go in the Constitution. And the first thing said,
freedom of religion, right?
Congress shall make no laws. They can't. By the way, that's why I was telling her they can't even make any laws that would infringe upon the free exercise of religion.
Well, that's the danger too, because
they're shutting it down.
No, not the federal Congress.
Oh, that's true.
These stupid dummies who run states do that. But the United States Congress cannot make any laws that would infringe upon the free exercise of religion.
But now, but you see, you have people that are, you know, because they're so worried about this deal with Islam, which is funny because the only thing that's changed about Islam is the demographics. It's that they're in the borders of the Western countries now, which they weren't before, and everything was fine, essentially. You know. That's
why Europe, the leaders of Europe, the European leaders of Europe, stupid.
Right.
They brought in their own. That's just ridiculous.
So the answer is, all right. Well, then maybe what we need to do is make Islam illegal in the country. You can be here, but you can't practice Islam. But then that's a slippery slope, right? But then they're saying, well, see, it'd be different than just religion because Islam is more than a religion. It's like an ideology with a political bent or whatever. But the problem is so is socialism, and we allow that in America.
Right. I don't see with the political climate the way it is, and with our Constitution, I don't see them ever banning the religion itself. But what I do see is this: that just like it's going to become such a homeland security issue that if there's any evidence that you, a practicing Muslim, has any connections to we find any evidence, assistant to this, we gonna. I can see this. I can see them monitoring either covertly or overtly these mosques. And saying.
What a waste of resources, though, right?
But here's my point, Brian. I could see it get to that point. And that if they hear anything, like if somebody, they're never going to hear me say, "Oh, go fight against the government."
That's not
I'm so afraid for these heathens.
Here's the other.
But my point is, Ryan, they may not get to the point because of political pressure and the First Amendment to ban the actual religion, practicing the religion. But there are going to be tenets of it that they claim are terroristic tenets. And they're going to say, if we find that, your ass was grabbed, we're going to get you. Go ahead and practice peacefully, but if you do the rest of that stuff, then I can see that, Ryan, not a whole ban. Go ahead.
Well, so as I was going to say, in Japan, for example, they don't allow immigration from these countries.
I know, that's why you don't see these terrorist attacks in Japan.
Exactly, because they're not allowed there. But the problem is, though, is that's what's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a bleeding wound, because it's just a waiting game, because Japan's even worse than almost all the countries. Their birth rate is just dropping, and eventually,
that's Japan's fault. That's culturally dumb too. Trying to kind of limit people's households and stuff, right? the number of children that they can have, like that.
Well, that's China. That's not Japan.
Oh,
You have
okay.
many
Well, what
children.
is Japan doing? Why are
It's the
they?
same as everywhere, man. It's feminism stuff. That as soon as you have career
Breaking
women,
up
they
the
stop making
families
children, and then your
stuff.
birth rate drops.
Oh, well, there you
Satanic
go.
policy of
Yeah,
people there
sure.
for the family.
They got caught up in
Do,
it.
do they allow?
America is that too.
Are there any grace believers in Japan?
Not that I know of.
It's very.
There's not even a good Japanese Bible.
Wow, that's heavy, man. That's
But
heavy.
on the other hand, Fernando, Japan is a place where it's very easy, if you like, to come over to America. So if you don't have that freedom there, you can come over to America.
Oh, I
and
see.
find
Okay,
the
if
truth.
you're
Yeah,
okay,
we have
okay.
good relations.
And there's
now
plenty of people that
with-
read English in Japan
Yeah,
too that could
yeah.
get
They can go on
Japanese
the internet
Bible
and stuff.
Yeah.
in their hands.
But Japan, at least, unlike North Korea, has
Yeah.
this freedom of movement with
I see.
American, American.
They'll allow it if people want it.
I don't know, Ryan, will they?
Allow what?
Can
Allow
you just can I go over to Japan and
Preach
just
the
open up a
gospel
Grace
and stuff.
Church?
Of course.
Oh, there you go.
Wow, that's
they have
cool.
freedom to do
Okay.
that.
It's like
Because you
more
can't
first world than America is. I
you
would
can't
say,
do, you
but,
cannot do that in North Korea, and in China
yeah.
you got to do it underground.
Yeah.
but
Wow.
South Korea you could.
South Korea. you
South
can.
Korea and Japan are very similar in their
So then
freedom.
someone from Japan, instead of coming over, they could go over to.
I mean, think
more
about
similar
think
culture.
about David's church right over there, where it's the same. You could easily do all that.
So I
in
would
Japan,
say-
too.
in
But
fact-
they just don't, because culturally, there's
It-
way more Christianity in
Yeah,
Korea
yeah,
than
a lot
there
of
is in
reform
Japan.
stuff.
If I talk to someone who
Christianity is
spoke,
like 17% in Korea, and it's like 0.7% in Japan.
Wow.
and if I talk to
The
someone
least of
from
all countries
Japan
almost.
who's been let's say they understand they've been watching our studies,
Uh-huh.
I would tell them, I say, for your own sake, maybe immigrate to South Korea, because that's closer to their culture than even America, and obviously they're in the same region.
But
What?
they hate each other, Koreans and
They do?
Japanese, of course.
Oh wow.
Why do they hate each
Because
other?
of World War II, man, they went and murdered a bunch of, and they never said sorry about it. The Japanese never said sorry about it.
What is it, people? You know,
That's what's cool about the internet.
I mean, because
though. You never know who's
America
watching.
and Japan were at war in the 40s. I mean, and
Well,
then
Japan is embracing America as like one of the only examples in the modern world of a conquered culture embracing their
And
conquered.
let me ask you this: was it for Japan's good? Was it profitable to do
Sure.
that? Sure, it was. Sure, it was. That was something that was mutually beneficial for both.
Why it happened, I still don't get it. I think it was
I know.
maybe just because of the whole bubble in the 80s and stuff, and they're just making so much money with the car industry that they're like, you know what, America's pretty awesome. We're going to be like the most rich country in the world because of them, so
Yeah.
we like America because of that.
It's
Even in the
stressful.
80s, you see, like when you watch 80s movies and stuff, there's a lot of like Japanese themes in them and stuff because of that bubble was happening.
Right.
So it was like
But
really
back
popular.
to the I understand the people. I understand the culture, but I would think, Ryan, the only reason I would disagree with you on this is that why would Korean grace believers?
They wouldn't, but I'm just
That's what I
saying.
mean.
Oh.
That's the
I'm
difference.
just saying
That's
that
what I'm
would be
thinking
that would
from-
be a hurdle that
I'm
they
thinking-
would have that they wouldn't have
Okay.
if they came to America.
Okay, exactly. Okay, I see that. My thinking would be that the right thing to do is that the brethren in Korea, in the body,
Mm.
even though their even though their people have this enmity as a nation, but where that shouldn't be is amongst the body.
Yeah.
So that people from South Korea would gladly
Right,
bring
right.
their brother from Japan in and say, "Welcome to the fold.
Yeah.
Let's worship the Lord Jesus." That's where their enmity between their two countries
Real
should
grace
not.
believers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That would be
yeah.
grace believers.
Sure, but
That's
I'm
what
just
I-
saying
that's
that
what I-
that
that's what I-
variable wouldn't even be involved if they came to America as opposed to.
Yeah, that's true.
But then
that's
probably,
true.
but then so you weigh the options,
You
right?
weigh the options, right? There might be one Japanese brother say, you know what, I feel I would be better off being with grace believers in South Korea. Whereas others would say, because Ryan knows the culture and the people of Japan, would say, you know what, I'm better off coming to America because then I won't have any of that stuff. So that's
Yeah.
true, that's true. Anything else, Fernando?
No, that's
This is
good. Yeah, thank you so
So
much.
you think though that I guess it just
Yeah, I
you know,
don't
on that,
know. Back
we'll
to what you said.
see what happens, I guess, right?
Yeah. Because what's the wild card? The Lord could come back any.
But it
I
seems
think
like
so.
if he doesn't come back, like just in a few generations, there's going to be so many more Muslims and
Well, that's a fact, sure.
Westerners, that it's
Unless
the West is going to die.
unless something dramatically changes within Islam, the fundamentals of Islam, and they just go the way of the rest of the world, and their birth rate begins to slow down.
And why would that happen?
I don't know. Why did it happen in Japan?
Because of feminism, which is not present in Islam, which is why they breed like crazy. Because there's no career women. There's women that understand their roles of being housewives.
But
Here in America, a lot of them.
I was just about to say that something I would have to throw in there about Islam too, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
As they get more westernized,
oh, yeah, that's
that
true.
thing can creep in there. Because look at this. I mean,
Maybe the poison of the West will save the West.
No, I know that sounds crazy, right? That's the only kind. I think Krista's gonna go there too. Because think about it. Think about these Muslims who come like to America. They get westernized very quickly, don't they? They start getting used to this culture, and then they start. I mean, they're literally I was just about to say they're literally there honor killings where these men say that their daughters. Think about how stupid this is. A father says, "My daughter was westernized." Well, you brought her to America, and you put her in the public school.
Changing clothes to sneak it or going to high school.
If you put your daughter in the public school, she's gonna go from that hijab. She's gonna walk out with that hijab. She's gonna take it off when she gets to school. Man. She's gonna get westernized, so don't kill her.
I think this is what the no-go zones are all about, right?
That's what the no-go zones.
They want to have isolated communities where that can't happen.
And you know why Islam wants that? Because they recognize that if they're in these Western countries, like let's say England or Brussels, in any of these, France, Germany.
France is one of the worst. Right?
France is one of the worst. That they know that the West can influence them, so they try to, like the leaders of these Muslim communities, want these enclaves where they're not westernized, right? Because once you get, I can tell you this, you're in this. This is what I know about religion. If you're in a religion, and you're the bondage of that religion, once you get a taste of freedom, your flesh goes, oh boy, I want that, right? Mm-hmm. So you're in a culture where you walk down the street and billboards, the women, like Ryan said about feminism, the women, I'm free and look at me and I can be in my bathing suit, look at me, I'm running things and all that. And them ladies go, they got two rags, they go, oh, murder it, but then they go, good job off.
It'll be a break in their heart.
They still become feminists and just leave it on as a part of their. We were in the.
That's true.
True.
But to answer Ryan's question, maybe feminism of the West might end up
kind of holding back the.
So I don't even know which is worse, really, at this point.
Dude, I bet this is happening in these homes as they come over to the West.
Yeah.
And with the internet and stuff, technology, that whereas those women weren't as aggressive back in the Middle East.
So which is stronger?
They're
right?
getting radicalized by the West.
That's the key, Ryan. Yeah.
Which is stronger?
Very aggressive.
See, that's the thing. See, Ryan he's right about the demographics, right? We know for a fact that the Islamic the Islamic people are growing at a greater rate than the West.
Yep.
But then what we have to take into account, Ryan, is when they come over to the West, if those generations, as the Lord tarries, will that happen, that could feminism, Ryan, be the ultimate? Satan spoke to Eve, and Eve became a feminist right there, right? Could feminism, Ryan, be the greatest destroyer of mankind?
Sure. It is.
Because it breaks families.
So that means it could affect the feminism in the West could affect the birth rate of the Islam.
Yeah, I mean it's an attack against man, right? And Islam is
order
man too. But I
see what you said.
What's stronger? I think because I think for 1,000+ years, Islam has been one of the strongest kind of patriarchal ideologies, and even more so. And feminism's only been around for about 100 years. The the feminism we're dealing with, but even if you look, let's go back, before that all started in 1920 or whatever. Islam was more kind of hardcore patriarchal than even the West at that time was. And women had more freedom, even in the West prior to the 19th Amendment and all that. But I feel like Islam's pretty good at keeping that stuff out of there. Like, I don't know, what's stronger, I guess, is what it comes down to, right? Because their birth rate on average is 8 children per family, whereas the West is less than, it's 1.3 or 4, something like that. It's a downward death spiral trajectory for the West.
So here's the balance. As Islam spreads in the West, or their people come to the West, will they conquer the West, or will the feminism of the West conquer them? That's the question.
You probably get a mathematician to figure that out. Seems
I
like
see a lot of them having jobs, having less children and stuff like all
sure,
that.
That's my
it's
point,
bound to
right?
happen,
If
but is
feminism
it
connects
going to
them,
happen
then
enough that they're not going to be able to?
That's what you would have to.
Right.
Yeah, you have to.
Because eventually, even if it slows it down considerably,
What
it's
if
got
half? Go from 8 to 4.
it's still not enough. They still outbreed, right? Think about it. Do the math.
But
All they need
As
is
the generations come up.
because if
they
you got
get
more Muslim voters in America than non-Muslim voters, then we got Sharia law, right?
But they could vote that in?
Sure, if there's more than them, then if there's 51% of Muslim voters voting for it and 49% of non-Muslim voters not voting for it.
All right,
sure.
just like
But
nobody
that
talks about.
overrides
Just like
the
nobody talks
Constitution.
about the Exodus 33 principle.
Just
Can I?
get rid of an amendment, get a new
Dude,
amendment.
I can tell you. I'll tell you what will happen before that. Here in America, it will be a civil.
Civil War, right?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you, man, there's some hardcore Americans. I ain't gonna let these mother come over there. Oh, it's gonna be some blood spill.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I can see if that scenario. Because Ryan's right. The population, if they're outgrowing it, they try to. I'm saying you're gonna have those hardcore Americans
Who have like
Who like,
stockpiles and guns and
your brother.
ammunition and everything.
Yeah.
you know,
Fighting against
over
people
my
in
whole
sandals.
dead hands.
But
will be
what's funny is that
and my
at
point
that
is,
point,
you're gonna have that
but
balance.
what's funny is at that point they're going against because they're going against the majority of America, right? So they're really kind of fighting against
but
American
Ryan,
ideals.
but you're gonna see
ideals.
this coming on the horizon, though.
Whatever, that are with the
Well, I mean,
No, I'm saying you're gonna see this.
Civil
You're gonna
War.
see this coming on the horizon. I mean,
mhm.
But even with Trump,
it's not gonna just kind of appear. It's gonna be this gradual, and people are gonna be like,
I guess we are already kind of seeing it. Right?
we are seeing
With Trump,
and I'm
it
saying-
got super divided.
Sure.
And imagine, God forbid something happens to him. I think that'll start
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
You know?
dude.
It's on
I'll tell you
the-
what. If one of these leftist crazies
Yeah.
attempt to assassinate,
Yeah.
it's gonna be bloodshed, man. Because I'm gonna tell you, President Trump, he got some hardcore Americans who they will die for. This is no joke. They ready to take up arms.
You saw what happened in
And
Berkeley.
Her brother got her. It's a bunch of these dudes who got arsenals. They're waiting for it.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm ready for it. Like
In Berkeley,
they want about it.
they're getting
Yeah.
physical and all that.
It's
open
crazy.
Yeah,
and
the
all
right
that.
the right got rid of the left in Berkeley that last time, right?
Yeah. So, I'm not even too well informed.
That was like the first time that
Yeah.
basically the anti-fascist Antifa or whatever got
Yeah. Those
got
guys.
kicked out of Berkeley, and they're like,
Really?
whoa. Mhm.
Interesting. I know.
But see, that's all that.
We're
kind
such
of-
in a chaotic time, man.
Yeah.
Because we are on the precipice
Yeah.
of the change from dispensation grace to prophecy. It would be like we're the things that Paul talked. And you can see what's going on in the Middle East, in the different countries. We're getting there, you know. So whether what Ryan originally asked about Islam taking over the West, it could happen. It just depends on when the Lord decides and His righteousness to come. Yeah, it could come this year because it wouldn't happen, or it could. I think he's more between you and I, Ron. I think he's more focused on the Middle East and what's going on over there. I think
Of
that's his
course.
main focus. Where the land is, where he promised Abraham is.
Which is
That's
already
Oh, it's already.
Muslim belt.
Yeah.
Say that would happen, we would have to just do this underground, right?
If what? With what?
Just say that happened, Muslims take over whatever, or just another whole.
Sharia
If
law.
Sharia
Yeah,
law.
Right, right.
We would just have to.
Or if it just got so far away from Christianity that they, like I said, hate speech. Pretty much anything in the Bible is considered hate speech now.
That's yeah.
If let's say California passed a law with crazy Jerry Brown.
You can no longer preach from this because
Yeah.
it's against gays. And
Yeah,
against
no, and they're pushing that
Yeah,
for
they
sure. They're
do.
pushing.
Well, the trends to gradually go that way. Thank God we have enough people, even here in California, which is wonderful, that will fight for that. But let's say if it got to that point, we wouldn't stop teach it, we would just have to do it underground.
In our homes.
Because you got to be wise, because
Yeah.
if I'm the preacher and it's better me keeping me out of jail to do it, to preach
Right.
underground than
Well,
to
that's
say, I'm going to stand and go
I
to.
could see Sacramento County passing something, so we just move outside of, so you're our.
Well, that's,
areas
by the
would be
way, that's why
outside.
God
Just
made
don't be
national
here.
and the ability to move. If Sacramento
Give
County
them
says
Videos come
we would just
from
move to
Reno
Placer
and-
County
or Placer,
or another
yeah.
county outside of Clinton County, yeah. So that's why I'm saying I had to use California. The reason I need to use the state there is because we have Ryan, we have Fernando, we have Doe, we have saints in the state. So it wouldn't be prudent for us to just move back to
And like where you live,
Minnesota.
there's the high Christian, quote unquote,
You have San Joaquin.
So I can see it happening in San
Stanislaus
Francisco, Sacramento.
Now let's say after
Basically,
Doe,
all the Trump counties, right? Would probably
Yeah.
because there was a lot of red counties in California, especially in the
let's
valley.
say Sacramento
Yeah.
County banned it. That's where we at. We could then move to Placer County. Let's say all this area did that. After Miss Doty went to be with the Lord, if she died and went to be with the Lord before he returned, it would be we would have more freedom to leave. We always think about her and her driving ability, right? That's one of the things we think about. But if everybody else could make it to we just go to Modesto or whatever, or Stockton, whatever. And Fernando could come there. He travels far anyway, My mother and them are young enough to do it once a week. We just move out there, I guess. We would just move. But that's why I had to make it a statewide thing.
Man.
I wouldn't leave California because our censorship.
if Sharia law got put into place, I wonder how we deal with that. That's why they read. They use what gets results. So the left has kind of like rebranded Islam as a race somehow because they can't.
That's so crazy, right? That's what
Because they can't say a religion because then you just say, well, you hate religion already. You're always, ripping on Christianity, and they're like, oh, you got a good point. I guess we can't really stand up for right. So because if you're like, I don't like Islam.
Yeah.
It's an evil religion. Well, you shouldn't be attacking religion. Why not? You do. Oh, all right. How about it's a
By the way,
race?
they do the same with the word Jew.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's now a racist
Somehow it's a race, right?
because it's a religious thing before, but now it's a racial thing. That's what they're doing in Islam. So to be Islam.
Well, Islam is like, hey, the Jews got a good idea there.
race.
We need to rip that off. Somehow make a religion a race.
Exactly.
Because they just
Race
use the word that gets results, right?
Yeah.
So you know what, man? The wild card in all this is we don't know when the Lord comes.
And we just praise the Lord that we can do this. Praise be to God, right?
Be
And keep
thankful
praying
that we
for the people
have what we
above.
have. Yeah.
Romans 13 and all that. Yeah.
Dude, no, we're blessed. We're
Blessed.
blessed to live in this country.